Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is another honor for me to be able to bring a new friend into our conversation. And this is Einstein MC2. And if he feels comfortable telling you where he lives and all that kind of thing, I'll leave that up to him. But I'm just excited to be able to share more from another member of our XRP Army community with everyone. So Enstien, if I said that correctly, great. If I didn't, then you can correct me. But I'd like you to introduce yourself and tell everyone what you'd like to say as an opening statement.
My name is Albert. That's why I reference Enstien. And I'm out of New York City. And I would like everybody to know that XRP is one of the greatest protocols ever to be created. And I think that getting in on it now is a blessing for anyone and everyone. So, if we could spread the word, it could only benefit humanity as a whole, and allow us to leave a legacy for our entire families.
Well, that was a powerful opening statement. Well done. So it seems to me like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but are you 30 and under?
No, I'm over. I'm over 40.
Okay, so we've got a really young voice, and the reason that I was bringing that up is that I'm really happy to see that there's younger people. I'm 58, and I'm really happy to see that there are people younger than me that are really taking advantage of this. And when you first got into the crypto space, I, I think you said maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago. Was that correct?
Yes. Well, I
And
used to be a web designer, and I was working on a project, and I needed a little snippet of code, so I was on a chat room trying to see if somebody can send me some code, and the person was willing to do it with uh, only if I paid them in Bitcoin, and that's what started the whole process.
Well, I own a digital marketing company, and we build websites as well, so I'm real familiar with that. And boy, that has changed, hasn't it? It's a lot different with WordPress now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's become so so layman friendly that now you know I I completely got out of that altogether and just figured it's dabbling into the crypto sphere would be a better idea.
And so, in your crypto journey, if you will, um, were you like you mentioned that someone wanted to be paid in Bitcoin. Was that the first project that you investigated, and then did XRP come into play a little bit later for you than that? That's how it played out for me.
Yeah, I've researched the information on it, and then as time went on, then it was basically just connecting dots, and I went from that to OpenCoin to researching OpenCoin. Um, I then learned about Ethereum and then all the subsequent coins, and then it was just amazing all this new technology coming out, and you know it's just that it was just so new for me that it took me a long time to start really gaining trust. And then once I saw the reality of it and started connecting the dots as to who was involved, it, you know, then it became a reality for me.
And Albert, when you first stumbled across Ripple, did the fact that did you hear that it was the banker's coin and that negative slant on it? And did that affect your research? Did that bother you? or how did you feel about Ripple and XRP when you first began to look into that?
Well, at first I thought of it as negative, but then, I like to do my own investigation into things. And then once I saw that they were going, that they, once the protocol was created and it was handed over to Ripple, and I saw that they went straight to the feds with it, that's what changed my mind, because I said, wait a minute, they're trying to get this thing regulated from the get-go, as opposed to just going in like Uber per se and try to take over the cab market by any means necessary. And that's what Bitcoin pretty much did. But they're trying to do it in a way where if they're one of the first ones to get regulated properly, they'll be one of the biggest players in the game. And then never mind that the banks in bed with them. If you do the research on it, you'll see that the banks can't do anything with it, other than just use it like you and me.
And Albert, I appreciate that you've got some techie background too, because that's one of the things I'm not sure that a lot of people understand is, what Ripple donated to the WW3, I think the World Wide Web Consortium, is the protocol. And I don't think that people that don't understand how the internet really developed, it developed on an insecure platform in the foundation of the building of it, because all it was in the beginning was some goofy college professors emailing each other, and they had no understanding of cryptography and had no need for it. Well, since it was built on an unstable, insecure foundation, that brought us John McAfee. That brought us Norton. And now we're talking about having an HTTPS. You can get a little security certificate that supposedly could help you. But we're talking about something bigger. We're talking about the entire foundation of the internet being replaced with a more secure blockchain protocol. I mean, that's a little bit bigger than just cross-border payments.
Yeah, I mean, it once I understood the Internet of Value, and the on-demand liquidity, that was pretty much everything. If anybody's tried to transfer money to their trading account or anything, and they see that it takes like 5 to 7 days for the money to get in, but you can trade now based on whatever credit you have available. It's insane. It shouldn't be like that. And now with 3 to 4 second transfers, that pretty much changes everything.
And Albert, the foundation of any business is, does it solve a problem? Does it make things more convenient? And if you look at Airbnb, hey, if you've got a spare room, it's more convenient and more homey. It's more comfortable to feel like that you're staying overnight at a friend's spare room than it is kind of in a cold hotel. And that's why Airbnb worked. And Uber, give people the opportunity to be their own cab. I mean, it just, and not have the overhead that comes with running that company. It was just a logical progression that made more sense. And that was the thing with Ripple and XRP that really captured my attention, was I can understand how we need to be able to move money or value as quickly and as securely as we do data. I mean, it just made sense. And it seems to me like, from what you're saying, that it hit you the same way.
Yes. I mean, and the other day, Flare announced that they were operational, and how they used the blockchain to then piggyback on Ripple to get value, anything of value across the Ripple platform, it was that right there, excited me. It let me know that everything's on track to get to where it needs to be. And, once this whole global financial reset happens, people are going to realize too late what they could have had an opportunity for. But, like anything else, this thing, I don't know if you ever saw that interview with Greg Kidd, and he talks about how Ripple paid him. They wanted to pay him in stocks, and he was like, "No, don't pay me in stocks." He wanted the option to be able to buy XRP at a locked price, and if I'm correct, he locked in a price for 10 years where he can purchase XRP for 0.6 of a penny.
Yeah.
Now, let's think about that.
It's hard to sit down and try to think about that, but go on.
If this guy can do whatever he wants, he could have gone the easy route and gotten paid in Ripple stock. But he chose to get it, to be able to have the ability to buy it at 0.6 of a penny for 10 years. And I don't know when they struck the deal, but I would assume it was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So he still got another 6 years of being able to buy it at 0.6 of a penny. And, God knows how, well, I think he has like 5 billion, if I'm correct, XRP. So he could sell one XRP, when it spikes, and he could just make a killing each time he sells just one, just to reclaim that 10-year option deal that he set himself up for.
Yeah.
And I've even taken notes on it, and going forward, once this thing takes off, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to jump into Link2 and any projects, and that Miguel Villas has jumped over to Link2, and I'm going to jump on Link2, and any projects that they're coming up with, I'm jumping on in.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like the blockchain now is the new internet, the new web, the new .com, and all of these extra projects are all going to be built on that platform. And I mean, it is sometimes the enormity of what is really going on here. And again, you and I kind of have we've got the benefit of being a little in the techie world, or have been in it, and been able to have seen what happened with the .com boom. And whenever I share what this is all about with new people that I meet and talk to about it, friends and family, whatnot, I always try and explain to them, listen, if we could go back knowing what we know right now, and we could buy as much Facebook, as much Google, as much Amazon, as much Alibaba as we possibly could, if we could go back 10 years and do that, how much would you buy? And we are redoing the entire World Wide Web, and we're going to have a blockchain revolution, just like a boom, just like we had a .com boom. And with your background and your research, have you come to similar conclusions?
Yeah, I mean, we're at the cost. I mean, even now, as at 29 cents an XRP, we're still at the infancy. It's like buying Bitcoin at 29 cents. I mean, and look at Bitcoin now, and it's poised. Bitcoin's going to hit the 150,000. It's going to hit all its marks, because a lot of people just don't understand what it is. And what's helped me is that technical background. What little technical background I have. I mean, I was just a simple, web designer, but at the time I was even thinking of jumping into, working on blockchains, and switching career paths altogether, when I just said, you know what, at this point, I just need a job. If I could just start gathering, collecting all this stuff now, you know, it, it's like jumping into Google, jumping into Apple, jumping onto all these things rolled up into one.
Yes.
I mean, people think I'm crazy when I talk about this stuff, and I go,
Me too.
I it sounds like I'm a conspiracy theorist, and know that the government's this, the government's that, and my friends, they laugh and chuckle and everything. But I remember, I think it was last year around March when Bitcoin was at 3,000. I was discussing with some colleagues, because I'm finishing off graduate studies, and I told them, listen, I don't know if you guys are into this stuff. I gave them the links, and this was before I started to go deeper into XRP. I said, you guys got to research this and do yourself a favor. Take a chunk of change, whatever think of it like this, spend maybe $10 a week or whatever, just accumulate. And look, it went from 3,700 to now we're trying to tip 12,000.
Right.
And now the same people coming to me saying, "Wow, I should have listened to you. I should have listened to you." I'm like, well, I told you, so for the price you're paying for that latte, you could have now had, 10 lattes.
Yep.
And that's the thing, it's hard for people to conceive because they don't think that the government is as corrupt as we know.
Yep.
Because the XRP community knows how corrupt it is.
Yep.
And if you go to my page, my Twitter page, and you go to my pinned post, you can see I it looks like I'm a crazy guy because I constantly comment on that post because it makes all the sense in the world. Just that little animation that's on there as to what XRP is about and what it's about to do.
Well, Albert, I'm sure, like me, you watched The Big Short, and they remember when Hank Paulson got down on one knee and begged Miss Pelosi to let the government bail out, and the amount was $795 billion. Well, since last September 19th, the Fed has pumped $7 trillion into our economy. And we didn't have a congressional agreement to have that happen, but the fractional reserve banking system is flawed, and it won't work. You can't give bankers $1,000 of a deposit, allow them to loan out $10,000 and make off of that deposit and make commissions off of it. I mean, hello, what could go wrong with this plan? So I know that they didn't solve the problem in 2008. They just put a little Band-Aid on it and wink, wink, we're okay now. And then it just exploded. And one of the great things about being alive today with this internet thing is we don't have to depend on a financial advisor. We don't have to we can do our own research, and we can go out and find just as much information as anybody else can and become very financially literate on our own. And that was something that was very foreign to me growing up because I never took any interest in any kind of financial stuff at all. I was my college degree is in radio and TV communications, and I was a drug abuse counselor for a year and a half. And then the last 35 years of my working career, I've been in sales. And so the financial education never came up. But aren't you glad that we've got the opportunity, and encourage everyone else to do your own research? It's all there, and you can become just as literate as anybody else is. You just have to decide you want to do it and then go get educated yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I always give them the links to xrpl.org, even Bitcoin, all the coins that I feel have promise, XLM, now you got XFin, VET, it's good to spread it out also. As time goes on, as we start hitting new all-time highs, I'm going to diversify a little bit, and because it's just good to diversify, it's just a common sense thing. And, Greg Kidd made a valid point. He said that, it's one thing to put your eggs all in one basket, but then make sure that as you start hitting all-time highs, take out like 10%, so then that way you could put it into something that'll, provide you dividends or something like that. Like there's a stock out there called Main Street Capital, which consistently has been paying out dividends for like the past, I think 10, 20 years consistently. And, you put some money into that, and then that'll start accumulating. So then that way you can have your bills paid, and you could just live life a little bit while you're seeing all this thing explode. And then once it does explode, you take a good chunk of it and then really live. But the whole idea is you can't just go blind. You gotta think. It's a chess game, and right now we have the banks in checkmate.
And so what has been the most exciting that you've seen lately? And for me, the announcement from Brian Brooks. I mean, number one, that crypto, what do they call him? The crypto comptroller, Brian Brooks. Man, when he said the banks can custody crypto, I mean, that got me excited. But then when I saw the Georgina lady from the IMF with the article that they just put out, the paper they just published with RippleNet and XRP in the document. I mean, the news keeps coming, and I'm not sure which to get more excited about.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, when Ripple had spiked 37,000% on just pure speculation. And it goes back to connecting the dots. If you're not connecting the dots on this and then believing what you're seeing, because you're getting physical proof. There's actual documents out there. There's actual organizations behind it. There's actual people behind it. And little by little, everything is just being connected and drawing this picture. If you can't see the picture, I don't know what else will. I mean, I could sell you the Williamsburg Bridge that I'm looking at right now. But
hey, we may have to revert to getting the digital asset investor to have his 8-year-old draw pictures.
Oh, he was one of the biggest dot connectors for me. Let me give a shout out to the Variable Bull and the digital asset investor. As, both of them combined, I scrutinize their videos with a magnifying glass, because when I see them post something, I look at the links that are on the screens. I trace them out myself to verify, and just, and then I sometimes even find more things, and I post it on their video, on their their YouTube video, so then that way they can see it for themselves. Because I'm all about sharing information.
Me as well.
I'm not about holding anything. I'm about just putting it out there. The more people know, the better it is for the community.
And see, that's one of the other things, Albert. I mean, I feel like that Ripple is the strongest company in fintech, if you want to call it in that category. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, when it becomes a bank, it's going to be insane.
And I also believe that XRP is the greatest digital asset ever created. And I also believe that we have the greatest community in the crypto space. And I don't want to take up too much time, thanking all of our great YouTube influencers, Brad Kimes, Kevin Cage, DAI, King Solomon, Ham, Eggs, and Sam I Am, Crypto Eddie. I mean, I don't see any other project in crypto that has the company, that has the digital asset, and has the community that Ripple and XRP has. Not even close.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's one thing you have maximalists. I'm more of a well-rounded thinking kind of guy. I like to think of all things, because the same way Ripple is getting all the banks to start flipping over to XRP and Ripple and all their protocols, is the same way we should be thinking, because you can't do it individually. You have to do it together as a community, and that's what's going to lay value to everything. It's like right now, there's a mass exodus in New York City where a lot of the wealthy are leaving. But you know what? I'm a proponent of, you know what? For all those XRP people who wish they could come live in New York City, you know what? When this thing takes off, come back and buy back New York. So then that way New York can be where it needs to be, the center of the universe.
Yep.
New York has been through so much shit, excuse my French, but
that's okay.
We're, once again, like the Phoenix, we're going to rise out of the ashes.
Yes. So what last year in October, Brad Garlinghouse said that he felt like in this marathon we were about in mile 3. Now, do you believe, either you believe it's the plandemic or the pandemic, whichever, but how far along now do you feel like that beer cold has accelerated the pace in the marathon, and kind of where do you feel like that we are now?
Okay. Well, Codius has been active, right? They're in a beta stage, but they're active, and now with Flare, and KID, Global ID, all those things, they're all active and running. I already got my .crypto address. I already got my Global ID. All those things right now. This is ground zero. This is it. This is the time to show up. If you're gonna show up to a party, this is the time to show up. Anytime come December, you're gonna be kind of late to the party. Still, it's gonna, because remember, right now, it's infinity for XRP, from here to infinity. So, at the very least, we'll determine the time that if you jump in now, your timing now will determine how much wealthier you'll be later on.
I agree. And so kind of as we wind down here, one of the things that I kind of end up with everybody with is 3 things. One is I would like to pre-invite you to come back, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to make as many connections with people in the community as I can. And if we find out that we're like-minded, then after this thing moves, you find a piece of property in New York, let me know. And if we've got a good enough team of people together, we can all go in when that thing's tokenized and go in together on things like that. But we can't do that if we don't make connections with each other and find out who the like-minded people are. And I'm 58. I got news for you, Albert. Lottery winner syndrome's not happening to me. Maybe when I was 28, but not when I'm 58. So I'm trying to look at all of this intelligently and make connections, strategic alliances with new friends who are going to be extremely wealthy people at some point. And then if we want to do things to help other people, if we're connected and find good causes that we want to make an impact on, we can do that, but we can only do it if we are connected and know each other. So I'd like to pre-invite you to come back at some point, a month or so, 6 weeks or so down the road, and we can kind of contrast where we were on August 14th and where we are, 6 weeks from now. And number 2, I'm diligently trying to interview as many people in the community as I can to kind of be a bridge builder and a unifier in the community. So, because I believe the more that we all get to know about each other, the better. And so what would you say to people, excuse me, what would you say to people out there that I have been requesting that they come and do an interview with me? What would be your message to the people out there that I'm asking to come on and do this with me? What would you like to say to those people?
One, I would say it, it takes a village, right? And two, coming back 6 months later, hashtag zero doubt.
Beautiful. And would you like to hear people like DAI? And would you like to hear people like King Solomon? And would you like to hear people like Ham, Eggs, and Sam come on with me so you could get to have a little bit more of an understanding about who they are, not just their opinion of a news article?
Yes, yes. You know, just it's like the variable bull and the digital asset investor. You know, when you hear a voice behind it, it then, you know, puts that human touch to it. It's not just that copy paste.
And so I'm diligently inviting all of them because, again, what I'd like to be able to do is get an interview so everyone in the community can get to know these people better on a personal level. And so I'm going to stay on that, and I will persist until I succeed. It's just the kind of guy that I am. And so last, to wind up, is there a final message that you would like to kind of send out to everyone in the XRP Army world and in the crypto world and just in the world in general?
Well, this morning the Financial Times is talking about Ripple and XRP. And the Financial Times, you know, all you got to do is look at the demographic of the people that read the Financial Times. And the wave is coming. Get in now or forever hold your peace.
Well said. All right. Well, thank you, Albert. And it is wonderful. Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask, you said that you were in graduate school. If you don't mind, what are you getting your degree in?
I'm a special educator. I teach special ed. I work with children with disabilities and stuff over at Pace University.
Beautiful. That touches my heart. I used to be a adolescent substance abuse counselor, so I get dedicating your life to helping others, and I appreciate what you're doing, trying to help take care of those kids.
Thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you. Your name? I just want your first name. Just
Scott. Yeah, Scott Powell.
Scott Powell. Okay.
Yep.
I got you, Scott. I'm following.
All right. Take care. And I got one thing I wanted to talk with you about as soon as I turn this thing off. Take about a minute and a half, and then I'll count on getting back together with you in a month to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on one second. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.